morning! And you are through to the Pinstripe Chronicles. This is your boy Donald here, and I got my boy, brother from another mother, Luca himself, and we are here to break down some more Yankee talk. So, what's up, everybody? Say hello in the chat. Do hop on and say hello. First things first, let's say hello to the early commentators. We got Jonathan.
Early bird.
Early bird award is Jonathan, although John the Beagle Dad could take that to a tribunal because he actually was commenting last night. So, but John the Beagle Dad is certainly in with a shout with that award too. FJ, what is up, FJ? Good morning to you. Got Issy in the chat. That's right. Like, well, beautiful. Already 2 likes in. We're only 20 seconds in. That's great. Let's hit the like button for your boys here. Tell you what I liked. Amed Rosario. I liked Amed Rosario. Luca, what do you think, man? Is he making a push for the starting third base job?
He kind of has to at this point. What's up to everybody? Happy Wednesday to all. Good morning to all. He has to at this point. I mean, if your starting third baseman is 2 for 23 to start the season, remember, Ryan McMahon got his first hit of the season in his first at bat, and then went through a whole stretch where he didn't get hit, and then he recently got a hit. I'm not sure what night it was. As I said, he is 2 for 23 on the season. Amed Rosario has to make that push. I'm pretty sure Armin actually sent me this quote from Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone said, I think they asked him about, they're going to use him more against righties or whatever. He said, let's see this tweet. Aaron Boone was asked if it's likely we'll be seeing more of Amed Rosario against righty pitching. He said, not necessarily. There's certain matchups that I like it in. We've got a number of lefties coming up. Competition is always a good thing. It is, but with this performance that he had last night, 2 home runs, majority of the RBIs, he's got to be a mainstay in the lineup for right now because, I mean, let's face it. The left side of the infield has been porous offensively. Mm-hmm. Ryan McMahon has been horrible offensively. People are talking about him in Chase Headley territory, but at least Chase Headley could hit above the Mendoza line. Let's be honest, Caballero hasn't been great as a hitter. I mean, he's been stealing the bases. Fine. But he has not been praiseworthy. He's not been. So now you're left in a situation where you need somebody to hit on that left side of the infield, and the only option you are left with is Amed Rosario. Nobody else has taken the cake on that spot. Oswaldo Cabrera is down in AAA. As I said, nobody else has taken the cake in that spot. And what are you going to do? Wait for Volpe to come back? I mean, we talked about it earlier in the season. Our bar for Anthony Volpe is so low, it's down here. I'm pointing to the ground, folks, if you guys can't see. But my point of the emphasis is we clearly do not have an infield, left side of the infield who can hit. We need somebody who can hit right now. And the guy that's hitting right now is Amed Rosario. And Issy Devo says we don't believe in hot. The Yankees should believe in hot, but they don't. So I address your comment, Izzy. Completely agree with you.
The infield right now, Ben Rice aside, is abhorrent offensively. Absolutely abhorrent. So, I mean, I know that Brian Cashman made the trade for Ryan McMahon, but let's be honest, Ryan McMahon looks terrible. He looks terrible offensively. I mean, defensively, obviously, great, but you have to hit a little bit. You have to hit a little. And that brother ain't hitting nothing. So it is a real concern. It is a real concern. And it's only going to get – the concern's only going to get larger as the season goes on. It is a concern of mine, this infield. And it has been all off-season, and it's certainly not changed at all. I mean, obviously, very early in the year, but so far – 28 at bats. He's got 2 hits, Ryan McMahon. 2 for 23, yeah. 11 strikeouts. 11 strikeouts and 23 at bats? Yikes. That's actually worse than I thought. That's almost 50%. On base percentage, 276. Slug 087. Slug 087 batting average. I mean, Ryan McMahon, that's abhorrent from Ryan McMahon. Come on.
And he's making $16 million.
Oh, God. I mean, I know that it's a slump. I know it's April, and I know that eventually he'll hit something, but this is a really bad sign.
Yeah.
So you got him there. Caballero hasn't really been much better.
No.
He's at 35 at-bats, 143 batting average. He has 11 strikeouts and 35 at-bats. Not too bad. 382 OPS is abhorrent. 171 slug. Very, very bad. Yeah, these are – so that's your entire left side of the infield right there. Jose Caballero and Ryan McMahon are combined 5 for 58. That's a real worry.
That's paltry.
It's poultry, yeah. So that's your left side of the infield. And then you're looking at Jazz Chisholm, the clown. He's like the
class clown.
The court jester. 200 batting average, 238 on base, 275 slug, 500, no home runs. He has 13 strikeouts so far. I mean, so that entire infield right there is bad, and it's Ben Rice.
I was going to say it's the bottom of the order because,
yeah.
I mean, you could go back to even like it's not even the worst part with Jazz that he's struggling obviously as well. He doesn't have a good eye for the plate because last night I saw it came up on Twitter. He challenged another call and the Yankees lost it.
Oh, dude,
ABS strikes. He's had a horrible eye for the zone.
Yeah.
So you have that. He's just, as you mentioned, Donald, he's one of the, you could argue, 4 bottom bats that the Yankees, that have been struggling. And, yes, the Yankees won 5-3. We should be talking about the positives. But at the same time, it's like Adam Chavali shouldn't have been mowing us down as much as he did. It shouldn't have taken an Amed Rosario grand masterpiece to beat him, to beat the A's, who are a terrible team. And I understand it. I completely understand it. It can be just one of those games where, a pitcher mows down a lineup. It happens. It's 162 games in the regular season. But from the first series, we've been talking about, hey, these bottom bats, whether it's Wells, whether it's Jazz Chisholm, whether it's Caballero, whether it's McMahon, those 4 guys are really, really struggling. They're not supporting Giancarlo Stanton. They're not supporting the hot bats in the lineup whatsoever. The Yankees do not have the bottom of the order. Might as well just mark out X, 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 X. Automatic outs. All of them.
Yeah.
Chisholm right now an automatic out. You can rely on him to make a stupid error, stupid base running error too. Caballero can't hit. Ryan McMahon can't hit, and Austin Wells, I'm sorry, still can't hit either. You
look
have
at this,
4
man.
automatic outs in the bottom of the lineup. It's just inexcusable.
No homers, no RBIs. 185 batting average, 222 slug, 535 OP. It's abhorrent numbers, man. They're giving you nothing. Ryan McMahon is giving you 0 homers, 2 ribs. Austin Wells, 0 homers, 0 ribs. Jazz 0, just 3 ribs. It's really bad, man. That's like 5 automatic outs in your lineup. And Trent Grisham hasn't been very good either. Look at this, 147 batting average. Now his on base percentage is fine, but he ain't hitting nothing either. But he is getting walks. He is at least drawing walks. Look at Jazz Chisholm. He's drawn 1 walk so far this year. 1.
That's not excusable. That's inexcusable.
No, it's inexcusable. So to spin it positively,
right?
The work that Ben Rice and Giancarlo Stanton are doing, and to a lesser degree, Cody Bellinger have done so far with this lineup is quite remarkable.
It's a carry job.
Yeah. It's quite remarkable what they've done to carry the offense because of those stats that we've just mentioned. We've just gone right through it, man. Like, that's 5 automatic outs. You could maybe stretch it to 6 automatic outs at the moment. Yeah, with 6 automatic outs, still with Ben Rice and Big G and Cody Bellinger, little bit of help from Aaron Judge. Not just a couple of home runs here and there. He's not been the Aaron Judge yet.
No.
So we'll say 5 automatic outs and 5 automatic outs, and they're still 8-2. Wow, that is actually crazy when you think about it. We're 8-2, running away with the East right now, and more than half the lineup can't hit. The majority of the lineup can't hit, and the entire bullpen can't pitch. That's what's remarkable about this. That's what's remarkable about this. I just came across a scout that was talking to John Heyman. He says that the bullpen stinks. And not my words, his words, not mine. Yet we're 8-2 due to a pitching staff, starting rotation. 90% of the bullpen can't pitch, and almost 2/3 of the lineup can't hit right now. It is amazing that we are 8-2. Can you imagine what's going to happen when some of these guys are going to maybe come together a little bit? So TC Steels is asking, are we getting lucky then? I'll ask Luca.
I'd say kind of fortunate. This kind of reminds me of the Open to either the 2022 or 2023 season when the Yankees, to start out the season, were being largely carried by their pitching and eventually Aaron Judge, except Aaron Judge isn't hitting well in this scenario. We went over the bullpen towards the end of the offseason. Was like, yo, we don't have a great arm besides David Bednar. Doval's a question mark. I mean, Jake Bird pitched well yesterday. You have Fernando Cruz, and that's it. That's really it. You don't have a good lefty arm, at least I don't know about. Tim Hill's fine. He's fine. That's what he is. He's fine. He's a fine arm to have. Wingquest, I don't think he has even pitched yet for the Yankees. I mean, how many games has it been? What are we talking here? 8-2. That's 10 games. 10 games, and he hasn't even pitched yet. Paul Blackburn stinks. I mean, Hedrick's fine, but he's more of a low-end reliever. The Yankees do not have a consistent top dog outside of David Bednar. I don't fully trust Bird yet, in my personal opinion. He needs to give me a little more of those consistent performances. Like, don't get me wrong. I think he's been fine, but other than Bednar, like, what are we doing? There's no leverage arm that comes out of the bullpen. Well, like, there's no high leverage arm out of the Yankee bullpen besides Bednar, in my personal opinion, that is making the opponent shit themselves.
What about Camilo Doval's 10.80 ERA so far?
The control's been a problem. The location's been a problem. The same stuff as last year.
Yeah.
And the guy, when he's on, he's on. When he's off, it's like, oof. Jeez.
What I will say, though,
yeah.
I mean, Brent Hedrick has actually surprisingly been good. He's had 6 innings pitched, 10 Ks, and no runs given up. So Hedrick has actually been very, very good. Fernando Cruz has been amazing. Bednar has been very, very good. I mean, he's having a lot of innings so far, and he's been great. So Tim Hill has actually done the job perfectly so far, as has Yarbrough. So there are some pieces to work with there. But it's quite remarkable that we are 8-2 considering a lot of these issues. So we go back to the original question posed by TC. are we getting lucky? I think there is an element of it. I'll be
Mhm.
honest. I think there's an element of it. Uh, when you start this hot, 8-2, it's quite unusual to be this hot to start the year, and especially with like we're not really playing complementary baseball. I think it's fair to say. So with that in mind, you have to say if you're going to look at it in a positive way, I do expect some more complementary things to start happening as the season goes on. I expect to see maybe some more emergent bullpen arms. I do expect to see a bit more consistency um, offensively in the bottom half of the order. So then when you think about it, you think, well, this Yankee team might be legit. But if these factors don't improve significantly, then I do expect that when we start facing the big boys in the American League and the National League, that that it's going to be a major problem, and I think we might start regressing to the mean a little bit. Because 8-2 is surprising considering these issues that we're pointing out. But Chris doesn't believe it's luck. Chris actually says it's not luck; it's a new look. I mean, she does have a point. The work on the base paths have been much improved. We've been very good on
Yeah.
the base path. And we're working a lot of deep counts. Jazz aside, we've been working a lot of deep counts and drawing walks, and we're just increasing the pressure on those starters, and eventually we start to break through as the game goes on. So there's not really any luck involved with that because that's actually kind of a philosophy that we had that I've been waiting for a long time. It's something that we had in the thousands. That was kind of our philosophy. Draw a lot of walks, draw a lot of deep pitch counts. Then we start facing and going into their bullpen, and then getting the big hits. So that's more design rather than luck. So that is actually a good thing. Even though half our lineup ain't hitting, we are drawing a lot of deep counts. So there's some good things going on here. Chris points out that the big boys of the American League East are in just a big a mess as we are.
Yeah.
Uh,
I just
they
took
have
a look at the standings, and the Red Sox ain't doing too well. They're at the bottom. The Jays are right at the bottom with them. I mean, as we said, it's early in the season, so anything could happen. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And I want to touch up on Donald's comments about philosophy. The way that the Yankees have been operating around the base paths, they create a lot. They've created first, as Donald said, they've created a lot of deep counts. You force a pitcher in a fastball count, you're eventually going to get the pitch that you want. And if you don't get the pitch that you want, you're likely just to take them out of the game and get into the teeth of the bullpen, or just draw walks, as the Yankees have done productively. Also, as I said, this is a good philosophy to have to create hit and runs, stolen bases. I mean, when you have Giancarlo Stanton stealing bases for the first time since 2020,
yeah.
I think that's something to be proud of. But I think it's just, I'm not going to say I'm skeptical, but I want this to be played out throughout the season because obviously it's 10 games. It's a sample size, but I'm an old school fan, and I do get it. Analytics matter, and everything is power based, and everything is about the home run ball. But why not continue to add an element of speed, bunting, the little things? My baseball coach told me a couple of years ago. This is 2019. We're talking almost 7 years back. For summer ball, he's like, bunting is a lost art, and it is. The Yankees have speed. Don't kid yourselves. Jazz Chisholm is speed. Jose Caballero has speed. Why not use those guys? So there is an element to speed. There's an element of, okay, we can work the counts. We may not have the prototypical leadoff hitter like a Luis Arias or whoever you want to say, but that doesn't mean you're not incapable of working a count, getting the count to 3-2, fouling pitches off, making the pitcher work. And as I said, getting to fastball counts or make him throw you a mistake, or even just walk. So That's where I like the philosophy added in. And obviously, there hasn't been a ton of power yet. The power will eventually come along. It's just like I don't want the Yankees to completely abandon this philosophy when the power starts to come around, where they
I
can.
like this. Yeah, I agree with you. I like this. And I think we've been kind of waiting for this because this is something that is actually sustainable when you get to October. If you're not reliant on the home run ball, and we haven't been so far to start this year, there's not been that much power. It's been a lot of just quality at bats, deep counts, drawing walks, and getting the big hit. We've seen that with Ben Rice, Big G. Eventually, Judge will do that. Cody Bellinger's had some decent at bats. To be fair to him, these are all really good signs as the season wears on. But obviously, we can't overlook the fact that 5 out of our 9 hitters ain't doing nothing, and it's a worry. And 3 of those 5 are completely abhorrent. These are real concerns as the season wears on, I'm sure. But we go one guy that deserves credit, and Neds is right. Credit to Boone. He put Rosario in at the perfect time. It was a great decision. Look at Boone managing. Good for him. I have to say, Nez is right. Obviously, we always call it as we see it here on this channel. We've been pretty critical of Boone in the past, but we have to give him credit where credit is due. And he has managed very well to start this year. Now, obviously, he's had 1 or 2 series where you're like, oh, that's his infamous bullpen management. But in general, he has managed this very well because if you're 8-2, when, as I've mentioned, five of your 9 guys don't hit, and 80% of your bullpen can't pitch, and he's still 8-2, that says a lot about how you're managing. That says a lot about how you're managing that you're still getting those wins. So credit to him because there'd be plenty of excuses to say if we were like 500, you know what I'm saying? So the fact that we're got an 800 winning percentage so far says a lot for how he's managed, and that was a really good decision. Go with Rosario. Let's try something a little bit different. McMahon's not giving you anything. Instead of just waiting it out, kind of like what he did with Volpe, he was more aggressive, and he brought in Rosario. That's the thing. Is like Boone did say that he, if he could critique himself for last year, he says that maybe he could have been a little bit more aggressive at times, and he has been more aggressive this year to start with, and that's a good thing. So. You know what? Call it when we call it as we see it, and he deserves a lot of credit. It was the right call yesterday, and it paid off because if it wasn't for Rosario, the Yankees lose this game. Facts.
Yankees wouldn't even have been in this game if it wasn't Rosario. But again, I mentioned this. It was Friday. I was like, Boone does have his moments where he actually looks like a good manager and he could pull something out of his hat. He has that baseball smarts. It's just that it's not consistent. That's why the Yankees fans are so mad. They gang up on him, whatever you want to say. It's the matter of consistency. And right now you are seeing a well-managed ball club to start the season. Obviously, once again, marathon, not a sprint. The team's 8-2. He's squeezing every bit of the juice out of the lemon. Every bit out of the juice out of the orange. With your top hitter that's not hitting well, Aaron Judge, he could hit a lot better. Most of your lineup is, completely porous. You have a lot of outs on that lineup besides Judge, Chisholm, Wells, the left side of the infield. Could go on and on and on. Trent Grisham's not hitting well. You maybe have 3 bats that are hitting right now. But the team is 8-2 because the starting pitching is phenomenal. Cam Schlittler's been phenomenal. Max Fried has been Max Fried. It's a matter of time before Cole and Rodon get back. So the starting pitching has been where it's at. That's been the epicenter of the Yankees' success this far.
Yeah, it has. The only probably
and Luis Gil's going to be joining us.
the only black cloud over the starting pitching, I would say, is Ryan Weathers. Uh,
Yeah.
he's looked poor. I'm not a fan of him. I don't foresee him staying in the rotation too long. But credit to Will Warren, he started pretty well. How would you evaluate Schlittler's start? It's not his best start. Um, Probably one of his poorest starts I've actually seen from Schlittler, and it still wasn't that bad. Um, how would you evaluate it?
It wasn't his best start, considering the 3 runs in the early innings. Didn't walk anybody. But it's funny, you said you look at the general numbers, he didn't pitch that badly to the common eye. It's just that we've held such a high standard, we know he could do better. So it's
Right.
like, this wasn't his best outing, but it was what? Almost still a quality start. 3 runs, 5 innings. He kept the team in the game pretty much. Outside of those first two, outside of that, what was it, the second inning when they started scoring runs? The third inning, they scored 3 and the Athletics scored 3 in the third. Then he was just like, okay, all right, time to settle down. He gave you 5 innings. That's all you could ask for. And then the Yankees, obviously more so Rosario, filled in the blanks. So
Right.
he did what he did. He was asked for. Is it going to be perfect every time out? Absolutely not. But the reason why it's not his best start is because we have set such a high bar for him because he has the talent.
Dude, it was the only runs he's given up this season.
I mean, yeah. What's the dude's ERA? 162, 1.62.
162 ERA. The only 3 runs he's given up this year all came yesterday. Otherwise, he's been basically perfect. So that's it. That's the bar he set. That's the best way to put it. It's like the bar that he set. He's used to pitching like Paul Skeens, so when he isn't like freaking vintage Paul Skeens, it's like, oh wait, whoa, what's happened here?
Exactly.
So that's just the bar that he sets. He's that good. Even on a poor start, he still gave you pretty much a quality start, and he kept the team in the game. So you can't really argue. That's pretty good. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about this Ryan McMahon Rosario battle for third base. I mean, I don't think it should be a battle. I think it should be, at this point, at worst, a platoon. At worst. Now, I know that they have a lot of money invested in McMahon, but that's not my problem. And it's not a Yankee problem. That's a Brian Cashman problem.
Right.
In which he never should have made that deal in the first place, or he should have traded McMahon in the offseason, which would have been the smarter play. But I think it should be a platoon. I mean, at this stage, I think it's almost academic that Ryan McMahon's not going to have a good year. It's basically academic. Now I know. Well, how can you possibly say that a week into the season? I can say that just by looking at his at bats. His at bats are dreadful, and it's not just the results. The at bats are dreadful, and I don't think that's going to get significantly better. And then also, you tie that into the way that he was hitting last year.
Right.
Apart from a little run in October, dude was an automatic out when we acquired him. Now, I might be wrong, but I believe that he is batting below the Mendoza line as a Yankee. As a Yankee, I believe he is batting below the Mendoza line. And that is a serious concern. Lovely glove, fantastic glove, but I'm sorry. You have to hit a little bit in order to make it a net positive, or even a net
Neutral.
Net neutral. Exactly. And he's not doing it. So in that regard, at worst, I think it should be a platoon. But I would seriously consider giving Rosario a lot more at-bats. Now, I don't think Rosario is necessarily an everyday player, not by any stretch, but I would take advantage of the hot hand. And I love the energy that he gave. Like, he literally pimped that home run. Pimped it. A week into the season, he's already pimping. And that's a good energy. He brings a lot of energy. You see him on the bench, on the top step. He brings a lot of energy. I like that energy. I think that energy can be really useful on a game by game basis. And his swing is nice. That's a nice swing. The quality of his swing in comparison to McMahon, it's not even close. Um, so that's where I'm at with it. I think it should be a platoon, an automatic platoon. But
Absolutely.
I would also really seriously consider maybe giving the majority of the at-bats, like say if over a 10-game stretch, give 6 of those 10 to Rosario. What do you think?
I mean, Donald, to reference your comment about McMahon, he's hitting 192 as a Yankee. Last year, here's his numbers from last year with the Yankees: 4 home runs, 18 RBIs in 54 games, 208 average, 641 OPS, which is like what? 104, 41, 159 points below average. I mean, that's insane. Because usually I believe 800 OPS is your average OPS, but he wasn't even close to that. 62 strikeouts in 159 plate appearances. Okay. 1 stolen base. The on base percentage was like 300. Okay. His slugging was 333 as opposed to the 400 he hit in Colorado in that half of the season.
Ugh.
Disgusting. 154 games played, but it can't happen. And you don't want this to turn into one of those sunk cost fallacies where it's like, okay, he's going to be where you don't want to admit where you're wrong, or that the Yankees are going to be like, okay, well, we're going to trade him for what, peanuts? Because I like to, again, Donald, I'm on the same side as you, same wavelength. His glove is phenomenal. You need somebody who can hit on that side of the infield. And that was the problem this offseason. If you weren't going to trade Ryan McMahon, you need at least somebody who could hit. Bo Bichette, I'm pretty sure he's struggling right now. I would have went out to get him. And if you're going to trade McMahon, I would have got Bregman. I know it's, you could say fallacy, previous terminal outcome, whatever. Literally, it's in McMahon's DNA. Great fielder, below average offensively. That's really what it is. And I don't want to say it's the same magnitude as like a Josh Donaldson, but it's like you are getting absolutely no return on your investment. None. $16 million is a joke for that type of player.
And you look at what Cashman could have had. Kazuma Okamoto,
yes,
260 batting average, 2 home runs already, and 11 hits to start the year. That was a no-brainer. You know what I'm saying? That's an absolute no-brainer that Brian Cashman just passed on due to his own negligence as a general manager. Like this 8-2 start, I'm not giving any credit to Brian Cashman because he's ignored all the flaws on the team and just hoped that it would go away. It hasn't gone away. It's just that
it's being covered right now.
It's being covered by basically Cam Schlittler, Max Fried, Big G, and Ben Rice, and Bednar, the closer. But yeah, I mean, Okamoto, that would have been a no-brainer. I don't know how Bo Bichette has started. I don't think it's been good. Let's have a look and see.
I don't think it has either.
200 batting average, 6 ribbies. I still take that over Ryan McMahon.
It's true. And here's the thing as well, the caveat. I mean, I don't know how well he's doing defensively, but like they're having Bo Bichette play out of position for this run prevention Mets infield because they have Polanco playing first. They have Lindor playing short. They have Bichette playing third. They have Semien playing at second. So it's like with Bichette, he's a shortstop. He's not the greatest defensive shortstop. Don't get me wrong. He has some issues there, but the dude can hit. At least with the Yankees, he would have been playing his natural position. Yeah. And at worst, obviously Chisholm's still here, so that's not really a conversation. Put him at second base, but at least at the same time, you would be putting him in a position where he would succeed because they would complement each other perfectly. McMahon and Bichette. Bichette can hit. McMahon can cover for the defense.
Yeah, and I agree with Luke here. We haven't played anyone good besides the Mariners. That is true, and I don't think the Mariners are even that good. The Yankees have handled the Mariners fairly well in the past. So, be honest, like we haven't really faced any team that has ever given us any like real worries.
Right.
Uh, so it's really hard to draw conclusions, especially 10 games into the year, let alone the fact that we're kind of getting fat off teams that we should be getting fat off of. However, we weren't doing that last year.
No.
We weren't doing that the year before. We always played down to the opposition. This year, we're not playing down to the opposition. We are giving it everything. And there's been other thing to be positive about is I like the mentality because there's been at least a handful of these games where you would have said we should have lost that game, but we didn't. We rallied. Like we've already rallied from a 4-run deficit a couple of days ago. This game last night looked like a loss all day long. I mean, it was done, right? Before Big G hit that RBI single, which somehow managed to swerve like it was remote control past the shortstop. Before that happened, that was an L. It was an L all day, and it would have been an L last year and in previous years. So the fact that we are getting the big hit, we are rallying, is all really good signs because, I mean, we've saved about 3 losses already this year just from some pretty clutch moments. So that's a pretty good sign because, you take that away and then we'd be right in the middle of the pack, and we're not. So these are all the things like, for instance, last night, that would have been a loss last year. But this year it's different. So I think there's something to be said for that. There seems to be a better mentality because last year when we were down, it looked like we gave up and we were like, oh, we'll get it next. We'll get it tomorrow. Doesn't look like that's the attitude this time. It looks like they realize because they took so many games off last year and it cost them the division. And they did. They took games off. They were like, we'll get it tomorrow. You were at one of those games, for Christ's sake.
Oh, my God. Pablo Reyes. Do I have to say the word Pablo Reyes?
Yeah. Yeah, they were like, we're going to punt this one. We'll try again in a couple of days. That's what they were like
Plan
last
for the
year.
series ahead.
Yeah. We quite like the series in like 3-4 days' time. We're going to try for that one. But this one we don't care about. But please do give us your money and your chicken buckets. But this time it's a little bit different. And I think Aaron Judge and Big G have pulled the locker room together, Bellinger as well. And we're like, yeah, we can't have that attitude this time around. And it looks like they're taking games seriously. And look at the difference. Look at the difference. They're 8-2. So, I mean, I think there's something to be said for that mentality. Look at what would you say to that?
As long as it carries throughout the rest of the regular season, I'm totally cool with that mentality. As long as it carries out. Again, we can only go based off we see, make observations based off 10 games, absolutely. But it has to carry out through the season. It can't be like, okay, April and May, we're going to really try our hardest, and then June's going to be like, yeah, and you know what, we'll just have our June swoon and just take random games off. That can't happen because June is a tough month, let alone.
It is. So. We're getting quite a lot of discussion about third base in the chat. So let's pick into some of these comments here.
Yes.
And let's talk about for instance, Healing Man's Heart's comment, which is spot on. Imagine if Ryan McMahon was in the game yesterday. We don't win that game.
Absolutely not.
Dude, we would have scored 1 run otherwise.
Yeah,
it's true.
Stand RBI, then that's it.
Yeah, it would have been the Stanton RBI. We would have lost, and it wouldn't have been close. I'm betting the proverbial farm that Ryan McMahon starts today. Boone can't help himself. He's a stubborn bastard.
That would be, I'm pretty sure, either you coined that or it was Rob who coined it. going back to factory settings. That
was Rob. Salute to Rob. That was a very good comparison, and that is true. And I tend to agree with Healing Men's Hearts. It's like they don't believe in hot. It's a Yankee thing. They don't believe in hot. They don't believe in playing the hot hand. They just think that whenever you play them, they're just gonna play like they did the week prior. The last time you saw them.
What was it last week? I think I mentioned it's kind of like basketball template coaching. Like, okay, time's up. Per my lineup card, you're supposed to be taken out at said moment, and said moment is right now. So, substitutions. It would kind of be that same scenario. We're like, okay, per our lineup card or per our analytics or whatever, you're supposed to be out of the lineup today, and that's exactly what we're going to do. You're out of the lineup.
Yeah,
man, you might be 2 for 23, but you're back in. Can't do that.
To Healing Men's Heart's point, that quote that you read out from that tweet at the start of our episode, Aaron Boone said not necessarily with regard to getting more at bats for Rosario
against righties.
Yeah, he said not necessarily. Oh, great. That's great. That's great to hear. So, I mean, that he's basically telling you that Ryan McMahon is going to be your starter more times than not, a lot more times than not. So, you know, it is what it is with these Yankees. You know what they're going to do. I know them. We know them better than they know themselves. McMahon needs to go immediately. I mean, Duran's like, oh, but credit to him offensively. Check out his postseason stats, dude. That's like a small sample size in October, right? I mean, as we've already pointed out, he's batting below the Mendoza line.
Just in a whole, I mean, he's probably touting the home run that he hit in the division series.
Yeah,
but like, as a whole, it's overly negative, his offensive impact. Overly negative.
Overwhelming.
Like there's net rating in basketball. If there was ever a diamond rating or something in baseball, he'd be a huge negative. Because he's great defensively, but offensively, he's down. As I literally just told you, he's hitting 192 as a Yankee. How that's even possible, I have no idea.
And he's striking out 50% of his at-bats this year.
Exactly.
A platoon is a good move. Keeping Rosario fired. That's definitely what I recommend. Yeah. Healing Man's Heart says Rosario is a better player than overall than McMahon, and it's not even close. And I agree. I don't even think it's close. And the financial disparity between what McMahon's getting paid and what Rosario's getting paid is crazy. Yet Rosario is just as good a player as McMahon, if not better. When you put it all together, because obviously he's a better offensive player.
I mean, Rosario is getting what, $1 million league minimum?
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, he's not as good a glove as McMahon, but it's not to the point where, you know, it's like the difference between their gloves is not enough to compensate for the vast disparity in what they're getting paid and what they produce.
Exactly.
It's just not. It just isn't. And you know, if you take away like the financial aspect, and then you just take a step back and go, right, who's giving you more as a baseball player? You probably say Rosario.
You could argue Rosario's outperforming because me and Dal, this goes back to like the conversations we were having about our basketball team, the Knicks. You have guys like Landry, just a quick basketball comparison because it makes sense in this scenario. You guys like Jordan Clarkson and Landry Shamet outperforming their value of the contract league minimum, just like Amed Rosario is. But yet you have players like Ryan McMahon and Mikal Bridges who are not living up to their position, the amount that they're getting paid or whatever you want to say. I know it's two different sports, but it's
comparable because you're looking at the value. If you're just taking a step back and looking at the value, Landry Shamet is outperforming his league minimum contract as opposed to Mikal Bridges, who's really struggling on his $150 million contract. Welkin has got a good point regarding Bo Bichette. He's only struggling because he's wearing orange and blue. That is a fact. Basically, if you wear those nasty ass colors, your game is going to collapse by and large. And Issy mentions maybe acquiring Brian Hayes. I'm not a fan.
I'm not a huge fan of Brian Hayes. I think you would end
No.
up in the same similar scenario with Ryan McMahon, except it's a longer contract. I mean, the kid's a young player. He's very good defensively. No, his dad was actually a former Yankee, Charlie Hayes. But the dude can't hit consistently. You'd be running into the same issues you'd be having with McMahon right now.
So glad Al Leiter gifted the Yankees a win. He really did. He looked dreadful. I'm surprised that they kept him in after he got Jazz out. I'm very surprised that they kept him in. That one more batter, that extra batter, is a really bad decision from the manager, and I'm sure the manager's kicking himself right now because because they had a pitcher warmed up, ready to go, and they stuck it out with Leiter, one extra batter too much, and they got what they deserved. Leiter.
Did you see what Al Leiter? Did you see what Mark Leiter said? The Yankees basically ruined him by putting in low leverage spots. He's got a lot of nerve saying that because he was never fucking good for the Yankees. Excuse me. He never was good. Never. I didn't like the acquisition then. I didn't like it now. He was ass as a Yankee.
Facts.
That's why you're on the Oakland. Excuse me. That's why you're on the Athletics, bro.
Yes,
please.
They basically are the Oakland A's. Let's face it. You're spot on, man. It does take a hell of a lot of nerve to blame the Yankees for the fact that you couldn't pitch in high leverage spots. The only reason why you didn't pitch in high leverage spots is because you couldn't pitch in high leverage spots. You were a disaster there. So we had to keep you a low leverage, or else you would have blown the high leverage. I mean, come on, take some accountability, and that's the problem, man. There was too many Yankees last year that took no accountability for their performance whatsoever, and he's one of them. So I hope he enjoys Oakland, Sacramento / wherever the frick he is. Just the A's, whichever. The A's are like the traveling circus anyway. They have a different location each week. God knows where they're at this time. But no, listen, let's see. Issy says, I'm not I just say play Rosario, give him some run. I agree.
Yeah. See what you got at this point.
Yeah. Rosario needs to share way more on second and third. That is true. And that is a very, very good point. It's like there's kind of no excuse not to be playing him more. Rosario outperforming McMahon, Caballero, Grisham, and Jazz, just to name a few. Oh yeah, Wells too, but we are 8-2, and that's it. And that's why I believe that they really need to be doing more in order to get in Rosario more at bats. He could play shortstop. Caballero's been dreadful. He could play third base. McMahon's been dreadful. He could even have a game playing second because Jazz has been dreadful. The entire infield has been dreadful. Dreadful. I'm actually amazed. It's actually I knew the infield was going to be awful this year because it was awful last year and it was exactly the same team. So even with that in mind, it's actually worse than I anticipated. Jazz is.
Let me tell you something right now. He put and I don't want to make this like, oh, you guys are raining on Jazz or whatever. He put a huge bounty and target on his back by saying the words 50-50. Because right now, he's not even close. Unless he goes off and does the Aaron Judge 2024 arc, where he all of a sudden pulls out 58 home runs out of his ass, that is not happening. Or however many home runs Judge hit in 2024, 50 or something odd home runs. No, that's not happening. Sorry. The minute he said 50-50, he put a huge target on his back. And don't think for 1 second the rest of the league ain't watching. Because they got
Fact.
big league scouts out there. They're looking at this guy like, wait, I'm going to pay that guy $30-40 million potentially to be a future star? Get the hell out of here with that.
Yeah, right. Not only did he put a target on his back, it reminded me of what I said when he said it. I said, baseball is the great equalizer. It's not like basketball where you can just get hot shooting threes at a 40% clip and then, good job. It's not like that. Baseball is one of the great equalizers. If you're a tiny split second off, that's the difference between a home run and a strikeout. Yes. And it's now psychological. It's now gotten psychological with him because he's actually playing worse. And every day he's playing worse than he did the day before. He's doing stupid stuff on the base pass. He's getting himself thrown out while he's not even paying attention to what's going on in the field. He's playing with his glove, getting thrown out. His at-bats are stupid, and his use of ABS is disgraceful. Take that away from him, please.
Eventually, I think what's going to happen is if the Yankees are smart, they're going to start analyzing. This is for other teams as well because this is the first year of MLB ABS. They're going to start analyzing, okay, which hitter who's a good success rate in terms of challenges. You're going to find out that probably Jazz Chisholm has the worst. And you're going to tell him, yo, stop challenging. Your eye for the plate is clearly not good enough.
No, he's putting the Yankees in a hole because they can't challenge anything because he's challenging perfectly good strikes. We got Celso in the chat. Yo,
Celso, hope all is well, bro.
Good morning to Amed Rosario. Oh, and Donald and Luca. Yeah. Good morning to the three of us. Shout out to Rosario because he was the reason why we won the game yesterday. If he didn't play, then we would have lost. But yeah, back to Jazz. Jazz is playing much worse than even anticipated, and I think it's psychological. I think that he knows he put a target on his back, and I think he's underestimated how hard baseball is. You are at the mercy of dudes that are playing, that are pitching to try and get you out, and you're watching in there going, I'm going to get a 50-50. Nobody says that. That's why nobody says that. You know what I'm saying?
The pitchers are licking their chops whenever he comes to the plate.
No. I think Aaron Judge has ever said, oh, I'm going to hit 60 home runs this year. And by the way, if he did, he probably would. But you still don't say it. You can quietly have that target in mind if you start getting hot. You know what I'm saying? If you're getting hot and you can see you're checking your stats as you get to the summer and you're like, oh, shit, this is going to be a good year. But you keep it to yourself. You don't say it out loud. Oh, I want $300 million. Oh, and I'm going to have a 50-50 season. You don't say that. That's why you just don't say it. He talks too much, and he's getting exactly what he deserves for 100%. His nonsensical comments. And they are nonsensical. How dare you talk about your contract before you're even at the freaking contract table? Before you're
Aaron Judge didn't even talk about his contract before that whole negotiation started. Never.
Who the F are you? You're not Juan Soto, bro. You never will be. You know what I'm saying? You ain't that guy. Just shut up and play. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm going to hit 50 home runs. Well, how about you hit it for the first time in your career? How about that? It's so stupid. It was, and I know what his point was when he was interviewed on game 1 in San Francisco. He says, well, I've always aimed kind of low. Why not aim high? Why not aim high to yourself? Why do you have to always talk about it? Why do you always have to say it in public?
We actually came on here after opening night and said, hey, you know what? We're proud of Jazz Chisholm's response where it wasn't that bad. He was like, okay, aim high, shoot for the stars, do whatever. But now it's like 50-50 is Ronald Acuna stuff. That he is not touching Ronald Acuna Jr. stuff in the slightest. Not Shohei Ohtani, not Ronald Acuna. Sorry. Jazz Chisholm has that. We've talked about this ad nauseum. Jazz Chisholm has the talent. That's never been the problem. It's been his psyche and it's been his mouth.
Exactly. Jazz should have been benched when he got thrown out for messing around with the base running glove and not keeping his foot on the bag.
Complete
That's
idiot.
just, I mean, that is idiotic, and he should have been benched right for that. And if he wasn't benched for that, then he should have been benched for the play the next day where he decided that he couldn't be bothered to throw at first base. Even though the Yankees worked so hard to rally and take the lead, and then the ball dribbles to him, you could have easily thrown the guy out, and instead he's like, "Yeah, I'm just too cool. I'm just far too cool for that." And the guy was safe. Aaron Boone should have benched him the very next day, but that's my problem with the Yankees under Aaron Boone. There is zero accountability because Aaron Boone was asked about it, and he was like, "Are you going to talk to Jazz about it?" And he was like, we'll see. We'll see. Come on. Come on. That's a layup. That's a layup of a benching. That's a layup of a conversation. If that doesn't merit a conversation, then nothing will. Well, frankly, because that's as bad as it gets. The stuff that Jazz has been doing this year is as bad as it gets. His at bats, terrible. His effort, terrible. The amount of laziness on both sides of the ball, terrible. His base running, terrible.
I'm sorry, he's soft. He's soft.
Yeah, all these things are terrible. And Aaron Boone, it looks like Aaron Boone's just like, it's Jazz. No, please, you got to stop it, because if you nip this in the bud now, then it will not be an issue in the summer.
You won't have to kick the can down the road, but that's what the Yankees are doing with this character.
So this is my point. If you nip these issues in the bud now, and you set a very clear standard that you always hustle on both sides of the ball, you're always hustling, then when it gets to the clutch, important games in the summer and then the dog days and then moving on to October, you know that you're going to get the buy-in from Jazz and from others. But he just doesn't do it. And guess what? It always comes back to bite you. Always. Always. So by him letting this shit slide now means it's going to be okay for him to do it again in the dog days when Jazz is bored and tired. Maybe he's had a long night and he needs to have a good yawn. I mean, that kind of stuff, you need to have a conversation with him. All Aaron Boone needed to say at that very point, in that very juncture, was him just to say, yeah, I'll have a talk with him and make sure it doesn't happen again. That's all you have to say. You're not throwing the guy under the bus. You're just saying, yeah, I need to have a conversation with that. Make sure that doesn't happen again. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for him to kick the shit out of him like Billy Martin would have. I'm not asking him to do that. I'm just asking for him to be honest and just say, yeah, there's some baseline effort there. He didn't reach it. We're going to have a conversation. He doesn't need to throw his players under the bus. But you also need to have a conversation because the behavior that Jazz has been showing has been abhorrent, egregious. You name it. He's been bad. So, I mean, look at how would you have handled it?
I'm with TC and with you, Donald. I would have had that conversation. Like, brother, you don't. It's one thing if you're struggling right now. If you're not showing effort, there's the bench. You are replaceable. You are replaceable. That's what you could say to him. You are replaceable. Amed Rosario, you're taking second. Or whatever. You call up Oswaldo Cabrera. You say, you know what, Oswaldo? You're going to be our new second baseman. Or whoever. You make that change happen. You make changes to make that change happen. Because clearly, you don't give a damn right now. You don't. You put a target on your back with your 50-50 comment.
Yep.
You're still maneuvering with a glove while your foot's not even on the base. I mean, that's stupid. It's inevitably stupid what he did. Epically stupid.
Yeah, it's not right. It's not right. Issy had a good point here, and I kind of, to be fair, I kind of overlooked it because I don't really look at players' personal lives. But Issy's been saying it the whole winner, and maybe it is something to pay attention to. It's Jazz's personal life. It's not in order, and it's showing up on the field. I've been saying since the winter, and you have consistently said it. But I don't know anything about his personal life other than I know that he's dating some, is it an OnlyFans model or some shit? I don't know. Who cares? But at the end of the day, he ain't focused on the game, and I think that it's mostly just his big mouth.
Yes.
I say baseball's the great equalizer. It's going to come back and kick you in the ass. It's happened to the greatest. What happened to Cody Bellinger after he hit 47 home runs and won the MVP? He bat like 100, and he was like a -2 WAR. It happens to the best of them. Great players have bad seasons, and Jazz isn't even a great player. So it can happen. Exactly. That's just the thing about baseball. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have to treat baseball with the respect that it deserves. You have to treat baseball with the respect that it deserves. And you have to, in return, work incredibly hard. Because guess what? The effort you put in will be reflected in what comes back. And that's the truth. The effort you, and it's actually a very good way of describing life. The effort you put into something, the rewards will come back to you in accordance to the kind of effort that you put in. If you're just lazing around the base pass, lazing around at bats, just acting the fool, it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. And that's what's happening so far a weekend of the year. It is the fiance 100% Donald. She's messy on social media. Luckily, I don't pay attention. Jazz is actually married to that OnlyFans model. He raps too. He's got too much going on.
So hold on a second. What is he, Kadarius Toney here? He's rapping?
That sounds like it.
Oh, God, please.
I mean, it doesn't sound like he's focused. But it clearly wasn't focused because he was giving it the big talk, the big large. Oh, I'm going to have a 50-50 year. I'm going to have a $40 million a year contract. Just shut up and play. Whatever happened to shut up and play? Shut up and play. Tyler, the Creator. Right. Yeah, he's the next one. And so, listen, we've gone back to talking about Jazz. But to circle back to McMahon, my point is, we got Nathan in the chat. Not seen Nathan in a while. Good to see Nathan in the chat. Salute to you. The point is, there's not really an excuse not to be giving Rosario more at-bats because Jazz has been acting the fool. Caballero has been looking pretty bad. Even though I'm a big fan of his, he's been pretty bad. And McMahon has been, awful. So there's not really an excuse not to be giving Rosario at-bats pretty consistently. He should be getting consistent run, at least while he's hot. And he has been hot to start the year. So let's give him some at-bats. If it isn't going to be McMahon at third, give him some run to short. Give Jazz a day off. As none of us are going to be sweating losing Jazz for a day.
No.
That could only actually be a relief because that dude's giving me a headache. Luca.
No, 100%. You got to go with what's hot right now. Unfortunately, the Yankees don't believe in hot and cold. So Amed Rosario is the hot bat. So what do? You have two struggling infielders. You have Chisholm, really three. So you have to play your cards right because Rosario can't play three positions at once. So
no.
And some nights you're going to have to say, okay, Jazz, you're sitting on the bench. There's going to be some nights where you're going to have Caballero on the bench. There's going to be nights where you have McMahon on the bench. You're going to have to be very much matchup variant because the Yankees don't – they do. They could call up as well to Cabrera, but they don't have an infielder right now another infielder at the ready to say, hey, you know what? This guy's going to take over.
Yeah.
Like, as I said, Rosario can't play three positions at the same time. You're going to have a struggling infielder somewhere in the lineup because, as we predicted, the left side of the infield has been a disaster offensively. Chisholm's been horrible offensively. So right now you're just putting a Band-Aid on it, and your best Band-Aid is Amed Rosario, excuse me.
Yeah, as he says, why don't give Rosario everyday run for one of those three.
Exactly.
At least while he's hitting well. You know what I'm saying? Because the idea that hotness doesn't exist is nonsense. You ask A-Rod, you ask
That's valid.
any previous baseball player, they all will say the same thing. Hot and cold exists. There's some nights that you are just red hot, you are seeing everything, and there's some nights you're seeing none. Right? That's just the way it is. That's the way baseball is. So I would take advantage of that. Rosario's quality of at bats have been excellent. And also, I love the energy. As I mentioned before, him pimping that second home run to win us the game. And that's pretty iconic to start the year. We're only 10 games in, and that will be used as a montage 4 or 5 months from now when we're collating a montage of the best moments of the season. Rosario's already had it, and we're already a weekend of the year with that monster home run and him pimping it. And that was pretty badass. I love the energy. He's focused. And then that's why we're talking about Jazz, because we're talking about someone who doesn't give a shit, who isn't focused. He's making a clown of himself.
He gives out the wrong energy. There's the right energy and there's the wrong energy.
Right. The anti-energy. He's given like negative energy, but it's because his name is Jazz that no one pays attention to it. So that's why I'm glad that we have this channel, because most channels are just going to ignore the negative energy that Jazz provides, because Jazz is a nice guy. Jazz is a fun guy. Jazz is cool. We like Jazz as the personality. That's why Jazz is getting away with murder in the Yankee fan base, because his name's Jazz. He's cool, right? No, you have to look at the negative energy that he provides. It's negative, man. This is not a positive, what he's doing. He's been horrible. And he doesn't give a shit. But Rosario gives a shit. He's always rooting for his teammates. I always see him at the top deck, a top step of the dugout, just cheering his guys on. He's got the energy. Then he pimped that home run. He's like, good enough. You know what I mean? He's like Fernando Cruz. He's like the offensive Fernando Cruz. That's only going to be good for your clubhouse. So ride that energy, ride that hot bat. I want to see him play today. If he doesn't play today, then I will be pissed, and I will mention it on the next show. There we go. A lot of podcasts say they love Jazz. This podcast is above such bullshit. That's why I love it here. Amen. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate it. Everybody do hit the like button. That's what you're going to get in this channel, man. We are above the nonsense, because we're not interested in what gets the clicks. We're not interested in what's popular. We just say it as it is. It's just regular fans. I mean, me and Luca are, you know, we're pretty knowledgeable about every kind of sport, so we kind of know what the crack is here. And Jazz is one of those dudes that you just can't rely on. You just can't rely on. And I think that Jazz getting an easy time of it because it's his personality, and he's likable, and he's a fun guy, and oh yeah, he's cool. It's kind of like the way that the modern fan kind of likes those kind of players. But we're above that shit. It's all about what you put in is reflected back to you, and he is not putting in enough. He just isn't. And that's why his year looks abhorrent to this point, where he's striking out too much, his at-bats are dreadful, his effort is dreadful, and he's getting thrown out in the base bats. It's because he's not putting in enough effort. And someone has to call him out for it, because other podcasts aren't doing their job. It's as simple as that. So everyone needs to be doing better. Need to be holding Jazz accountable, because if you're just like, oh, I love Jazz, so I'm just going to ignore all this crazy shit that he's doing just because he's a nice guy, then it will come back and it will bite us in the ass once we start facing proper opposition. He's a very lucky puppy that we are getting fat off some pretty mediocre teams. Because if he was doing this shit against Boston, we would lose. If you do this shit against the Blue Jays, we would lose. So he's a very lucky puppy. But I can see it. Luca can see it. The whole world can see it. Some people are just not paying attention to it because it's more popular to say, oh, we love Jazz. But we're not interested in popularity. We're interested in the truth. That's what you'll get on the Pinstripe Chronicles. Look at
Fair enough. Couldn't have said it any better.
Amen. So what we'll do is we will finish it on that note. Be very interesting to see what happens tonight. What's a pitching matchup tonight?
Our pitching matchup tonight, go to Yankees.com. Tonight, the Yankees pitching matchup is, we will have, once it pulls up, Luis Severino, the former Yankee, versus Will Warren.
Ooh. All right. Prediction time. What do you think?
We give Warren 6 innings, 6 strikeouts, 2 runs. We go 5 hits.
So you have a very good outing for Will Warren.
I was terribly wrong the last time I predicted because it was the Yankees home opener. I said the dude was going to have a rough outing. He gets the W, so I have to make amends.
I'm going to go with Severino. I think Severino's going to get the win. I think he's going to be motivated to pitch in the Yankee Stadium. I think he's going to want to show that he's very much got it, and he's going to want to prove something. It's either going to go 2 ways because the Yankees know him so well, they might beat up on him. But I have a feeling that he's going to show up and he's having a great game. Will Warren, I'm still not convinced by Will Warren. It's going to take a hell of a lot more than a couple of starts for me to be convinced on Will Warren. So,
I mean, the thing is,
also, the A's get the win tonight.
The thing is also as well, I know it's very limited sample size. The Yankees, I mean, this was a habit last year. I could see it happening today. Severino has an ERA over 6. So it's very possible the Yankees could pull something like they do last year and years prior where they struggle against a guy they shouldn't.
Yeah.
It could be one of those games tonight.
Yeah, it could. 4 runs. The A's offense will love homering off Will Warren. I don't think the A's offense has got that much power about it. But we'll see. Because they really should have won the game yesterday, and they just didn't take advantage of the numerous opportunities that they had. But I do think that it's going to be a tight matchup again. Could go either way. Either the Yankees know Severino so well, and maybe Severino feels a little bit of pressure being at Yankee Stadium wearing another jersey. Maybe that'll. But I have a feeling that Severino is gonna pitch really well. Big fan of Severino anyway. He's a really good dude. So it's going to be a fun matchup. We'll see what happens. Yeah. But we will be discussing it in the next show on Friday. And we thank everyone for hopping in and giving us the comments. Have been excellent. Really good, lively chat. So it's been excellent and a really good chat with my guy, Luca. So we'll wind up. Have a lovely rest of your week, and we will see you on Friday. Let's go, Yankees. Let's go.